Enter the Dragon has arrived on 4K, and the home media history of this title is actually really interesting because for the past 30 years or so, it's been a format leader. And every version that comes out, we say that it's the best it's ever been. I remember buying a VHS version. It might have even been a widescreen VHS back in the 90s, thinking that was the best it was ever going to be. Then we get a special edition, we get a DVD. Blu-ray comes out, and then we get a better Blu-ray a few years later with a better transfer, with the new extras. A few years ago, Criterion does a 2K scan of the movie, which was the best it had ever looked at the time, to include in their Bruce Lee box set. Now here we are, and we have a 4K, and it looks great. This is the best the movie has ever looked once again. I think this movie leads people into formats. When I say a format leader, I think that this movie is going to make people buy 4K players because this is a gateway to martial arts movies. It's a gateway to exploitation movies. Let's be honest, this is a straight up exploitation movie. It's done by Warner Brothers, so it's made with a studio budget, but it is the culmination of that whole exploitation. It's got a blaxploitation vibe. Listen, you've got all these different tournament fighters in this movie. You got the soundtrack by Lalo Schifrin. That's just full bow chicka wow wow, wow wow guitars. I mean, it's amazing. This movie leads people into, it is a gateway that leads people into different things, leads people into higher definition formats, leads people into exploring other kinds of movies. So I'm glad that it's been given the kind of treatment that it has here as far as video quality. The movie has never looked better. 4K quality wise, the grain has been managed so well here. You can see it. It's beautiful. It's moving, but it's not chunky. It's not distracting. The colors, the HDR, adds such a nice layer to the colors without being distracting again, because I've talked to you guys in the past, a lot of these restorations that have HDR, it feels revisionist to me. It's almost distracting because I like Rebel Without a Cause is the one I keep going back to because his coat, he's got a red coat. In the HDR 4K version, it's so saturated. It's like it's sucking in every color around it. That's not the case here. This just looks beautiful. This looks so filmic and so rich and detailed, and it's wonderful. I have no real notes here. I don't notice that it's too warm, too orange, or too red, too blue, green, cold. I don't notice that at all. No teal. It's just a great transfer from a movie that we've all seen, we all love. Now, it gets complicated when we talk about what's on this release, and more importantly, what's not on this release. Because once again, this is a Warner Brothers title in the US that is just a 4K disc and a digital code. There is no Blu-ray here, which means that all the pre-existing special features, here's the code, and here is the 4K disc. All those pre-existing special features are missing in action here. By the way, did I mention it has both versions of the movie? It's got the special edition version and the theatrical version. There's like a 4-minute difference in length, but the special edition version has changes throughout. It's more Linda Lee in her introduction here. We do have it's a 2-minute introduction. I think it goes back to the video days, the VHS days, because it looks like it's shot on video or sourced from a standard definition source. It's 2 minutes, and she's basically talking about what the special edition is. We've also got the commentary by Paul Heller and the screenwriter Michael Allen. Those are the special features. Those are both on the 4K, but we do have the choice to watch the special edition or the theatrical. That's not nothing. I'm grateful for that. That's cool. We have both versions on the same 4K. I want to make sure that's clear. That's cool. Warner Brothers did good on that. This is what we're getting in the United States, and every single time we talk about this now, the last few months, we're talking about a 4K that's leaving all the special features in the dust. And they're great features. You know, the last Blu-ray release, not the Criterion one, which is they kind of stand on their own because they do their own thing. But the last Warner Brothers Blu-ray release had was it 2017? Had a documentary called Curse of the Dragon, which is like a feature-length documentary about the Bruce Lee curse. I think George Takei narrated it. Well, that's not here. Seriously, I was looking at past releases, and I think this is my 4th, maybe my 5th version of Enter the Dragon. I was looking at past releases. There's at least 3 hours of material from Warner Brothers. I'm not even talking about Criterion or boutique, whatever, third parties, Shout Factory, whatever. I'm talking about Warner Brothers manufactured extras that they own that aren't here. And I think there's a growing frustration with this because we're buying these movies, we love these movies, and we want the story of those movies to be included in this package. So, you know, I'm just the messenger. It's my job to tell you what I think about this. And, like, I'm really, really happy with the quality of the 4K. By the way, Dolby Atmos soundtrack here. I'm not normally one for, I call them revisionist soundtracks, because of course this didn't have Dolby Atmos when it came out in theaters. Somebody asked me, I was talking to the comments of one of the videos about this, a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, even like, you know, a 7.1, a 5.1 for a movie that was made in mono or stereo. How are they deciding what goes where? How someone is having to make some artistic decisions there that are just by their very nature revisionist. They are not the original filmmakers' choices. So there's things that are happening, like HDR is another one. HDR is a revisionist tool. Sometimes it's great, but it's not a tool that they had. You know, that's something that new technology has allowed people to use. Is it in tension with the original film? So I usually am a theatrical audio kind of guy. If it had 5.1 in the theaters, right on. But this Dolby Atmos is amazing. And like, you know, you're watching the movie, when you get the red Warner Brothers logo that comes, you know, zooming towards the screen, there's just like this huge, like, it arrives, the sound arrives, and it's like, whoa. And that's something they never had the opportunity to have in the theaters back in the 70s, is that, like, the wall of sound that can come from what we have now. So, you know, here's me saying, like, as a purist, this is kind of how I trend, but hey, this Dolby Atmos soundtrack is really cool on this movie. So I don't know, that's what it is. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video down below. So if you want to pick this up, please use my link. That supports me, sends a few cents my way, which anything that you can do to support Cereal at Midnight is greatly appreciated. If it's subscribing, please subscribe. If it is checking out our Patreon, you know, there's like 150 plus videos on Patreon, collection tours, all kinds of stuff. Anything you can do to support Cereal at Midnight is greatly appreciated. So what do you think about Enter the Dragon? What do you think about having to keep, you know, we'll make our own combo packs, you know, it's going to be okay, but it's just a little bit frustrating that people who are just buying Enter the Dragon now for the first time won't have access to all those special features. And I guess the larger concern for me is that the story of the movie gets forgotten over time. We remember it because we probably already own it, right? We've seen this movie before, we've owned it before. But for people that are just entering into physical media, the story of it gets left behind. It's a little concerning to me, especially when I know those extras exist. They're in the Warner Brothers library. Warner Brothers owns them. All they have to do is bring it forward. All they got to do is include the Blu-ray that already exists. As I said in a previous video, that disc has been authored. It's been pressed. It is ready to go. Just include it. It costs less than $1. Guys, thank you. I appreciate you. Take care. Until next time, I will catch you later.